special guest interviews. So set your alarm clocks and tune into High Impact TV for the ultimate breakfast show experience.
Don't miss out on the fun. The Breakfast Cafe, starting your day off right.
It's the 5th day of the month of September, and I'm so delighted to welcome you to another beautiful morning, another interesting show. This is where we get to entertain, inform you, and educate you. Welcome to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. I am Olumide Shokoya. I've got the beautiful Melanie Poppin, Sarah Wusa in the house. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Good morning, Olumide. I like the color combinations, the sky blue, ash or gray, and white. You look absolutely amazing, I must say. And thank you for joining us. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. It's Thursday. We are swinging, towards the end of the week already, and the month started off great on Sunday. But let me ask you, Olumide, how was it like getting to the office this morning?
Well, I noticed lesser cars, less movement, It's almost as if today it's a public holiday. Then quite funny, or quite frankly, I saw a lot of filling stations shut. I think only one filling station was open with a very long queue. It wasn't open yet, but the queue was there. So people are in hopes that, okay, when the filling station will definitely sell fuel. So that's it.
All right. You're talking about the roads being deserted. I noticed that since Tuesday evening, and it got worse yesterday. A lot of vehicles were not on the road, not because they don't want to. And then the cost of transportation has also increased.
Yes.
Because there are fewer cars, they are struggling to get fuel. I've been getting different reports. Some first stations away from Lagos, 1,200 naira per litre. Some are still selling at 860 something, 890 something. Some are selling at 900. Black market is at about 1,213. It shows the very disturbing situation in the country. Excuse me. And the thing about this is it's going to have a ripple effect on every sector.
Food. Yesterday I went to get chicken, okay, and I was telling myself that it would have increased. I used to buy it 4.5 per kilo, and yesterday was 4.7, so I wasn't shocked. I just smiled.
I had a project I wanted to work on, and I like, it was like a wood project. I had to reach out to a carpenter over the weekend, and he called a price, and I was like, okay, I'll get back to him. And I was telling myself yesterday, I think I don't remember who I was saying, maybe Vivian or someone, that if I don't go and do it now, I'll be surprised that in the space of 2 days, he'll tell me that, you know, it's not the same price again. So I just had to quickly hurry and, you know, disburse the funds so that he can work on it. It just shows that everything now would increase. Even people that have bought goods in their store a long time ago.
That's the funniest thing.
And their justification will be when they are going to buy it again, like if they run out of stock and they need to restock, they will also get it at the rate they got the one that they had. But it's just sad, and it's a very disturbing situation. But you can also let us know how much you're buying fuel in your area, how easy it is to get fuel, the cost of transportation. You can just update us with the situation of things in your area. The phone lines will be open shortly. That's after our banters and etiquette segment. Now, on our banters and etiquette segment this morning, we'll be taking a look at something very crucial, and we'll move very swiftly because we're talking about time. So we have to work with time management strategies. Now, these are techniques and tools that are used to plan and control how much time is spent on various activities to maximize efficiency as well as productivity. You know, informing delays. Now, one of the things you need to look at is if you're running late, informing the other party as soon as possible is both courteous and considerate. It's a crucial part of both personal and professional ethics. Now, you know, if I am to have an appointment with you or a meeting with you and I'm going to be running late, or I am running late, the truth is, when you're running late, you already know you're running late.
Yes.
Even if you're stuck in traffic, you know that, okay, I can't meet this appointment. The ideal thing to do is to either drop a message or a phone call that, hello, hi, I'm sorry, I'll be running late, because you know, you owe that person that responsibility. But let's move very quickly. Here are some common, you know, time management strategies. The first one is prioritization. Focus on the most important task first. That's have a plan, scale of preference, if I could use that word. Which one is more important? That's what you should do first. Scheduling. Create a calendar or planner to organize tasks. That helps you put things in check. Time blocking. Allocate specific time slots for specific tasks. You know, if you're supposed to work on a project, you should be able to create, okay, this particular thing, I'm going to use 30 minutes to do it. I want to cook, that's going to take me 1 hour. I want to do the laundry, that's going to take me 45 minutes. And work, it's important that you also learn to work within that time frame. Also, break down large tasks. You know, divide big tasks into smaller and manageable chunks. Avoid multitasking. Focus on one task at a time. You know, they say women are very good at multitasking, and it's a skill that not every man has.
I do.
Women can, you know, do a lot of some men can, right? But most times the attention is usually on one thing.
On one thing, yes.
But if you know how to manage multitasking very well, I won't advise you not to do it, because it also helps you manage your time. You can be washing, cooking, sorting out your clothes or something, or working on an assignment at the same time, if only you know how to do it appropriately, that one will not suffer at the expense of another. Also, manage distractions, minimize interruptions, and stay focused. Use time tracking tools. Monitor how much time is spent on task. That way you are able to, you know how much you spent, how much time you spent on specific task. Olumide has the rest of it.
Yes, it is also important to inform someone of a delay, because it shows, one, respect for others' time. Yes, it actually shows that you respect that. I know in Nigeria we always say African time, but truly you need to inform people when you are running late. You coming late or delaying, it shows lack of respect. Now, value of time. Now, everyone's time is valuable, and when you are late, you are indirectly causing the other person to waste their time. of course. Now, informing them promptly shows that you respect their schedule and commitment. Now, setting expectations. By letting someone know you are running late, you allow them, yes, to adjust their expectations. Of course, possibly use the time in a more productive way rather than just waiting. So, for instance, if you are running late, the person could say, oh, let me quickly get something while this person, is on his way here. And that saves each of our time. Now, maintaining professionalism. Now, it goes without saying, impact of reputation. Now, in professional settings, punctuality is often associated with reliability and respect. That's why they say if you are going for an interview, it's best you go before, I think, an hour before the time you're supposed to be there. Now, being late without informing others can negatively impact your reputation. Conversely, communicating your delay professionally can help maintain your credibility. I remember when I went for an interview, I was supposed to go for an interview, and I called to inform them that I won't be available on that day, and they rescheduled for me, and I was very happy.
Yeah.
It shows that you value them, and they also can understand that yes, you respect them a lot. Moving on, avoid misunderstanding. Now, if you are late without explanation, the other party might just assume that you are not serious about the meeting or that you are forgotten about it. Now, a quick update can prevent these kinds of misunderstanding. I think we would. Okay, let me take this last one. Reducing stress and anxiety. Other party, when someone is waiting for you without knowing your status, they might become anxious or frustrated, especially if there are deadlines or other commitments involved. Let's say, for instance, you're supposed to channel or host a particular meeting and you are running late. I mean, your boss, your immediate boss, will be very mad, and absolutely, especially when the management team is there. I mean, you will just make. You could embarrass your boss, and that's one of the things you might not like. So I think we'll stop for here. But all in all, I know we live in a country whereby we like going late, especially parties, these that we believe.
African time is
African time.
In fact, when people fix events, they fix it. Imagine your event is to start at 1 p.m. People will put 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. on the invitation, and they'll tell you, it's intentional because they know if they put 1 p.m., people will not arrive till 3 p.m. And even if they put at 11 a.m. and the event is to start at 1 p.m., some people will not stay arrive till like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.
Yes.
We have a thing with African time in this climb.
But it's something I feel we need to. It shows a lot about integrity. I remember one of my former boss, we used to have meetings by 8 a.m. He's always at the office, at the conference table by 7 a.m. So tell me why you will not be there. But I think this is where we'll stop for here. We have the newspaper review coming up next, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe, but this is the newspaper review segment where we take a look at stories trending on the front pages of the national dailies. This morning, as always, we take a look at the Punch, the Guardian, the Vanguard, as well as the Daily Trust newspaper. And you can be a part of the conversation by simply calling us to bring us up to speed. I stated earlier that one of the trending stories now is this fuel situation. So you can do well to call us, let us know how much you're buying fuel currently, what the situation is like, cost of transportation and everything surrounding it, or you even like to bring us up to speed with any other story trending this morning, do well to call us. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. Let's kick off with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It also greets us with this big read that has to do with the petrol situation in the country. Petrol price hike. Nasima, LCCI, NECA worry over jobs and economy. That's a page read, a lot of writers to that story. They're talking about how this hike in price, fails to improve supply and clear queues. They also talked about how NASIMA and OPS worry over impact on businesses and citizens. It cannot be overemphasized that this petrol price hike, would in a very, very large way affect jobs and economy, because a lot of jobs, a lot of businesses, ever since, I know of a particular company that ever since the tariff hike is somewhere around the Ikorodu, they run strictly on petrol and diesel. They don't use national grid anymore. And seeing this kind of thing come into fore, I wonder what this would do for them. I've been even trying to reach the person since yesterday, because then when petrol was still at about 600 and something naira, it was taking its toll. Talk about now that it's about 800 to 1,000. Let's put it that way. So jobs will be affected, businesses will be affected. Some businesses will ask some people to go home because they cannot sustain it anymore. On the flip side, some would become more virtual, or they start to do things remotely. A lot of things can happen from this new development.
Well, all I can say is Sarah, brace up for tough times.
Well, we've been bracing up, we've been pushing through. But that's a page 5 read Vanguard newspaper. Let's take a look at other stories on the Vanguard this morning. Power generation reverses gains, dips by 45.4% to 2,753 megawatts. That's on page 19. Vice President Kashim Shettima inaugurates $150 million upgraded West Africa container terminal. That's on page 2. Beside that story, China to help Nigeria fight money laundering, terrorism financing, as Nigeria and China move to revive local currency swap. China to help Nigeria fight money laundering. Is it another country that would help us fight money laundering in our own country? If we are not ready to take the bull by the horn, no matter how much effort other countries try to put in, we'll still find ourselves on the same spot.
Well, maybe in the area of repatriating stolen funds or looted funds, maybe China will come in there.
We've had cases of funds being repatriated to Nigeria, and what has been different? What have those funds been used for? Who received them? How do they take account? Who is accountable for it? All of these things are questions that we need to ask.
And China is someone that we just had a very frustrated relationship with, and
over the seizures.
So, but it's a good thing that they are back on the table. They are, trying to, collaborate with us. So let's see. Fingers crossed.
Away from that, beside that story, Nenadi Usman emerges interim chairperson of Labour Party. A lot on the political scene. That's at page 13. Read. Do we have any more stories on the Daily Trust? We have this one here that says, we are ready for change of constitution. That's according to the Northern leaders. Details is on page 9. And lastly, there's a pictorial representation of APM's contained terminal commissioned in Oni. And that's it on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, very swiftly we'll move on to the Punch newspaper this morning. It greets us with a headline relating to the fuel scarcity. It says here, petrol scarcity. NNPCL bars independent marketers amid surging prices. Just one writer to that story. It says 3 PMS vessels arrive. Transport fares jump as major marketers raise fuel price. There's been a lot of rumors about this PMS rolling out from the Dangote refinery, and people are saying that independent marketers are trying to just quickly make whatever they can make right now before Dangote crashes the market.
Well, I know that Dangote stated that he's ready for rollout. He's just waiting for the NNPCL to, come around. And according to the reports we're getting, independent marketers want to have direct access to get this fuel from Dangote refinery. But now they have to go through the NNPCL.
That's where it gets dicey.
Which gets very disturbing.
Yes.
Because that way it might be a little bit difficult to regulate the market. So if they have to go through the NNPC, are we not still seeing a case of some sort of conversation surrounding sabotage, irregularity?
Subsidy.
So what is the essence at the end of the day?
I mean, if in a deregulated market, I think NNPCL should really hands off right now. They have tried. They have tried. We've seen their outcome. Let the private sector, the independent market, let them run this thing.
But if they run it, doesn't it also mean that they can fix the prices? If it's not properly regulated, they can fix prices however they want.
Now, how the federal government can regulate it in their own without regulating it directly is by setting up refineries. Now, if they set up refineries and they roll out their PMS, which is lower than what Dangote is offering, it becomes competitive. And every other person will try also. Now that Dangote is starting, I'm sure there are a lot of people, silent people, who want to, establish their refineries. It will create a competition and it will crash the market.
It's not easy to establish a refinery.
Yes, but we have illegal refineries.
It's not easy to establish refineries. Let's put that out there. The Port Harcourt refinery was set to begin in August.
January, not August.
No. The last update was August, which
yes.
was last month. And a lot of people have been calling them out that you promised that this time around August. Maybe if that is also sorted side by side with Dangote refinery, we would have some sort of stability. So we know that it's not just from one source, which is the Dangote refinery, which is an independent body on its own. But if one of the refineries that we have as a country is also running and functioning, somehow I think it will be able to create some sort of stability.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Now, just beside the nameplate, we have Ighodalo, not push and start candidate, says Governor Obaseki. Below that, APC will end PDP pains on Edo people. This is coming from Okpebolo. It's quite a whole lot that's happening in Edo State, and the incoming election, we'll see how that fares. Now, just above the masthead, we have NEC fears poor harvest as flooding kills 205. This conversation about flooding is not going anywhere anytime soon. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Nigeria's economy has stagnated. It's coming from Bill Gates. That's on page 29. Now, beside that, we have Shetina inaugurate $115 million West Africa container terminal upgrade in Rivers. Well, all right. Now, let's move on. There's a picture here. Well, let's quickly move on. Beside that, we have State Police, NEC, to brainstorm on 32 states report. I mean, the conversation about State Police, I mean, it seems to have died down. And, I
don't think it has died down. I think it's just on a low for now. You know that the IGP, initially stated his concerns about State Police. So even though the Southwestern governors, have been having this conversation, I wouldn't say it has died down. I would just say it's a conversation that can spring up at any time. It's been hard, but on the subtle level. Sometimes you just hear it kicks off, sometimes it cools off. So it's still on the forefront, I must say. All
right, now moving on. PDP shifts NWC meeting over governors and Wike's tension. Still a whole lot happening in PDP and them trying to solve the crisis between Wike and every other person. Now, below that, we have Abure reject Ortiz 29-man peace panel. Of course, crisis also brewing in the Labour Party. Now, we have Nigeria police will torture. Kill me if I surrender. This is the wanted Britain.
Wanted Britain.
Yes, who the police were after.
The protests, the end bad governance protest that they declared
wanted that they were looking for at NLC.
They put a bounty of 20 million naira on him before he spoke from the UK. And I think our history, or what word would I use? It goes ahead of us, because I'm sure he has seen things happen to people that are being wanted and eventually found. And he has said that they will torture him and kill him.
Well, kill is still extreme. Torture is still these are all allegations, but yes, we know that sometimes detention could take months, years, and all that. I mean, we saw there's a viral video of the Binance executive who was limping
and nobody assisted him.
It's not something good, that has to do. But let's quickly move on. Lastly, arms importation. Federal government declares emergency on a port. Yes, arms importation is something that we've not. I wouldn't say we are not taking it serious. The immigration, they are doing a whole lot. The customs, they seized about a large amount, almost 1,000 ammunitions in the past month. But, you know, the thing about it is investigating the root cause is what we should be pushing for. Who are the people importing these things? Because whether we like or not, in as much as we are stopping all these things, we need to also investigate where they are coming from. But I think that's all we have right now coming from the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, we'll move very swiftly to the Guardian newspaper. Do not forget you can be a part of the conversation. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. Now to the Guardian newspaper this morning. Outrage as high cost of petrol and scarcity push businesses to brink. That's at page 6. Read front page Guardian newspaper. President Tinubu woos Chinese investors, says Africa holds opportunities for growth. All right, that's at page 4. Read. NEC sets deadline for state police reports, releases 3 billion naira flood relief fund. You get all of the details on page 6. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Yoko others lament impunity and poor leadership. We get all the details, page 5. Also, federal government reviews prisoners feeding allowance by 50%, raises budget to 45 billion naira. You get details on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian newspaper, former President Muhammadu Buhari and northern governors, Saudi Arabia, condemn Yobe killings. We need to move past the phase of condemnation and see action. You keep condemning, it keeps happening. So how has that condemnation changed anything?
It hasn't.
What's the page 29 read? Bill Gates warns of rising misery, says Nigeria spends less per capita on its people. But guess what? Those are the hem of affairs. Buying new cars, getting hardship allowance, recess allowance, while the people are suffering. You get details on page 28. Former, rather, who am I calling him former? Vice President Shettima inaugurates $150 million upgraded APM terminal in Onne. Details is on page 5. And lastly, over half of sponsored bills in National Assembly in last 1 year recycled. You get details on page 5 as well. That sums it up for the Guardian newspaper.
All right, of course, the last newspaper is the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And the Daily Trust newspaper still has to do with petrol. Petrol price hike, transport fares surge by 50% nationwide. Why? That was why I was telling you, brace yourself. Tough times ahead. Now, we have 4 riders to that story. I beg your pardon, we have about 5 riders. Commuters express worry. Protest breaks out in Delta. Inflation may rise further. It's coming from Man. Now, Afenifere, PDP demand reversal of increase. Trade Union Congress asks government to rescind decision. President Tinubu didn't bargain for price for minimum wage. Presidency tells NLC. I remember yesterday, I guess, said something relating to that, you know, the reason why they gave the 70,000 naira minimum wage was so that they could increase the fuel price. But now they are saying that was not the negotiation or what that was had. But quickly, let's move on. Just above that, we have Gbajabiamila can't take over National Assembly's oversight role. This is coming from the House of Representatives. States police submit report in 6 days. NEC tells 4 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Nigeria complex but not difficult to govern. I like that. Nigeria complex but not difficult to govern. This is coming from someone who has actually ruled Nigeria for 8 years. That's former President Obasanjo. Now, below that, we have gunmen attack 2 Plateau communities, kill 7. Below that, bank loans to private sector hit 2.3 trillion naira in 1 month. That's a report. You can get more of that on page 19 of the Daily Trust. Africa, good place for investment. President Tinubu tells Chinese investors. Well, I just like to keep mum on that for now. Now, insecurity in our region must end now. ACF Northern leader says. That's on page 26 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And as we take a pause right now to return shortly with our guest, please stay tuned.
In town, something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park with facilities designed for friends, families or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real. Find your limits. Go go-karting. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Testimony, your presentation.
Women Redeemer don't die.
God is our Redeemer and he can never die.
Where are you coming from? Are you deaf? Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from our house fellowship, just in the neighborhood here.
Good morning, Jesus. Oh, how can someone be so low?
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Welcome back. It's still the newspaper review on High Impact Television. Don't forget that you can also call our phone number. That's 081-2182-0154. The number would also, the number is being displayed on your screen this morning. Please call us. Let's have your thoughts. How are you getting fuel? Have you gotten fuel? How are you moving? How's transportation? How's the cost of living around your area? We'd like to also get that. Don't forget, you can also stream on YouTube, Facebook, and of course X, formerly known as Twitter, at High Impact Studios. Still talking on the fuel price, fuel hike, and the refinery and all that. Yes, you asked a question that regarding how this whole thing, the independent marketers won't be able to manipulate prices and all that. But I feel that at some point, now, first of all, I wanted to say this earlier on. Let's not forget that we still have the IOCs who will not back down, because it has been said that this Dangote refinery will put a stop to importation of fuel and all that. And the IOCs do not want that.
Well, this is a very dicey situation, and I was just looking at this story on the Punch newspaper that was actually talking about the NNPCL borrowing independent marketers amid the surging prices. And if we take a brief read of it, you'd see that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation reportedly suspended the sale of PMS, popularly called petrol, to independent marketers after it hiked its product price on Tuesday. Now, this is even as 3 vessels bettered at the Apapa Lagos jetty on Wednesday to discharge imported petrol. Now, I want to believe that this petrol they're talking about is the one they've imported way before Tuesday, because when we were on the show on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, we got a report that NNPCL said they cannot continue to, the federal government said they cannot continue to import fuel because it's not sustainable. Marketers said the forex had also affected. NNPC talked about how they had debt of about 6 billion, if I'm correct, and all of that. Now, seeing that despite the fact that 3 vessels arrived at Apapa on Wednesday, which was yesterday, they still reportedly stopped giving petrol to independent marketers. It shows that there's something that we are missing. Because even if Dangote refinery has kicked off operation, and Dangote is still waiting for NNPC as a body before disbursing, if I could use that word, the petrol, and NNPC on the other hand, even with the ones that they have received, have reportedly stopped discharging petrol to independent marketers. It begs the question of what exactly are we doing? How then do they expect? It might be that okay, they want to re-strategize or what have you. I don't know. I'm not in their shoes. I've not had a conversation with them. But how then do you expect these independent marketers to get petrol? Or is it that the ones that are with them at the moment, NNPCL wants to be solely responsible for its sale? These are questions I don't have answers to, but disturbs my mind. For me,
I feel we are still going back to subsidy, because if you are trying to monopolize petrol, are you trying to subsidize it? And why are they the ones? I mean, NNPCL and according to Dangote, they said FEC are the ones who would actually put a peg. You know, okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mustafa from Niger State. Thank you.
Please, I want to comment on the Arewa forum yesterday, the meeting they held yesterday.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you look at the people, the members, or the people that contributed, and the members that came in, all are former governors, former ministers. And these are the people that put Nigeria to where we are today. To my greatest surprise, these are people that put this country to where we are today, the problem we have today. And there are people calling the government, they should do this, they should do that. Where were they before, when they were governors, when they were ministers? Look, the problem of this country, only God will remove us. We should only look for God's prayer. We should seek God's intervention. The architect of this problem, if you look at it, is from the leadership. And today look at the governors, ministers, former governors, former ministers. They are the people that formed the forum of Arewa Consultative Forum yesterday. And what are they saying? What are they saying?
Okay.
That is my contribution.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Thank you for calling us from Niger State. You know, he said something that these people are the ones that put up in the situation that we have found ourselves in, and that we should pray to God to help us. And I would like to add that away from praying to God, we also have a responsibility. You know, a lot of people have said one of the problems of Africa is that we are too religious, and we take religion very seriously, which is good. But there's also a place of doing what is necessary and needed. You know, we have a role to play. Just as we are praying for things to get better, we should also play out our part. We cannot be praying for things to get better and we keep selling our votes.
You know, it reminds me of past administration of former President Mohamed. But at a point, I think it was, I stand to be correct, I think it was former Vice President Oshibaja who said, we have left everything to the hands of God. And people were like, I mean, that statement is, so that shouldn't even come from the President. But I mean, let's welcome our guest. He is Barrister Evans Ufeli, a legal practitioner. Good morning, and glad to have you on the program.
Good morning, Barrister Evans. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. First off, let's kick off with your location, and if you'd like to bring us up to speed. Ever since this increase in the price of fuel, have you purchased fuel? What is the transport situation like? If you could just brief us in about 1 minute about your location and what it's like if you're in Nigeria at the moment.
Well, I'm in the Magodo area of Lagos. Situation is not any different from where you are, I assume. The NNPC have come to report the assertion that they have not increased any price. But the truth is that whether there's an official increase or not, the NNPC, by its own omission, have created a situation where there's now a technical increase, because the law of demand and supply does not respect price when commodities are scarce. When commodities are scarce, there's a tendency that prices will go up because demand will be high. Okay, that's exactly what is going on right now. So it does not matter whether there's an official increase or not, as long as there's scarcity of the product, price will increase, and that's exactly what is happening.
Right.
The NNPC have made so many mistakes in this whole arrangement. First, they don't even have a spokesman, anybody speaking at NNPC. If you go there now and ask the gate man, he will start to give you, he will grant you interview. You ask the clerk, he will grant you interview. Everybody grants interview on NNPC. That one shows you that they lack systems and methods. They are not coordinated. And unfortunately, they are spearheading one of the most sensitive part of the Nigerian economy, having over 200 million people without tax, without systems or method. Now, not too long ago, they told us that they have made so much profit, have declared profit, just a few weeks ago. After that, they told us before then also that they are not paying subsidy. And what they are paying is shortfall. That federal government used to give them money. And when they bring in the product, the federal government will pay for the differentials and tell them the exact price to sell to marketers. That was when we were told that they not pay subsidy for 9 years. A different person said that. Now, they told us that because of the scarcity some months ago, it's because of storm. The mother vessel in the high sea, the daughter vessel could not go to meet the mother vessel. That's the reason they gave for the scarcity then. So, all of a sudden, just some days back, they now came up and said that they are indebted. It is impossible in accounts or accounting to declare profit and at the same time, tell us that you are indebted. It means your balance sheet is a mess. That is an impossibility in accounting. So, but in all this, the president or the presidency that's supposed to take action on behalf of Nigerians is doing nothing. Okay? It's doing nothing about it. It's only the president that can address that issue. Because NNPC by the PIA is supposed to be a player in the oil gas industry. It's supposed to be a player just like any other independent marketer. Because that law took away the regulatory function away from them and handed it over to the institution that used to be called DPR before, that is now upstream and downstream something commission. Now, the NNPC have usurped that authority. It's now a player, it's now the sole importer, okay, it's now the regulator, it's now, very soon, it's going to assume the responsibility of the sole purchaser of everything Dangote is going to produce.
Right, I would like to interrupt you there. You know, Barrister Evans, just on that thought that point you just made, that very soon NNPC might become the sole, what's the word now, importer of everything, regulator of everything. Now, this morning we have a report as to how about 3 jets, if I could take this briefly, about 3 vessels bettered at the Apapa Lagos jetty on Wednesday, but NNPC, according to reports, suspended the sale of this petrol to independent marketers. We also got reports that in regards to this Dangote refinery, petrol being rolled out, Dangote is set, but he's waiting for NNPC. So indirectly, that means that every purchase has to go through NNPC. How can that situation be managed, that we don't get to see a sort of monopoly overtaking the petrol market, and it becomes very...
That's exactly what I'm saying. We're in what we call energy crisis, which I predicted some months ago. We're in what we call energy crisis. Now, NNPC is dictating the pace of how Nigerians should live and not live. Okay? Now, NNPC, the Dangote is waiting for NNPC. The reason we're yearning for an indigenous refinery was because the cost of taking crude out of the country and bring it into the country is high. By the time the landing cost, it becomes very high. So we're all yearning for independent or indigenous refinery, the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery, the Kaduna refinery, asking that all those they should fix it so that to start working. Dangote, 12 years ago, started building this refinery, and today it's a reality. Now, it's supposed to be a sign of relief to us, okay? But because NNPC have 7.5% shareholding in Dangote refinery, okay? And now is dictating the sale and the purchase of the product from Dangote refinery. Now, at the end of the day, the same thing we're running away from exporting and bringing in another incurring costs, is what is going to happen in our own land. And we're going to buy it higher, because if Dangote now be the only, if NNPC now be the only purchaser, it's going to now create a wholesaler relationship, which will now sell to retailers. Retailers will now sell to consumers. So before it will get to the end users, we have created another bureaucracy around the entire system. And that bureaucracy is going to now lead to a situation where before it gets to the end user, the price would have jacked up to possibly what it would if we were to be importing it from outside, or even higher than that. So I think the president needs to take drastic action. Not too long ago, Dangote came out and was crying all over the place that they refused to give him crude. The IOCs refused to give him crude and all that. And what the country usually export is not enough, because that's what we used to get Forex. Okay? Because if you look at it, Buhari have mortgaged the energy sector in Nigeria by what we call forward sale agreement. Forward sale agreement means they have used our crude to lend money or to borrow money from the Chinese and the rest of them for years from now, about 10 years or thereabouts. If that forward sale agreement is there, then the production sharing quota with IOCs are there. The joint venture agreements with the IOCs are also there. Because it is, the federal government don't pay the IOCs. The federal government pay them with crude. And when he pays them with crude, the federal government cannot dictate to them whom they should sell the crude to. When Dangote approached them, they refused on the basis that they have their own customer who buys from them. Then the president now instructed, the leaders in that sector to, from what we used to export, that is what is left after the IOCs have taken all that, from what is left, they should give to Dangote. Now the implication is that it's going to reduce our forest. But the president didn't mind. Okay, give it to him. Then the independent marketers, when he was crying all over, the independent marketers came out and petitioned the president. I don't know whether you guys remember that.
Yeah.
They petitioned the president, the independent marketers, on behalf of Dangote, asking the federal government to release crude to Dangote. Today, crude has been released to Dangote. Dangote has gone back to swing with the elite. By that common agreement that NNPC will be the sole purchaser, that is where we are getting it wrong. And what it means, therefore, is that the NNPC does not want Nigerians to buy that product. And the moment Dangote said he was ready to roll out, that is when this increment came, which they denied. Okay, that's when the increment. But whether you deny it or not, the fact that that was on the traditional media means that it has influenced sale from two days back to today.
Yeah.
That is what, if you go to any fisher and tell them otherwise, they tell you that it's in the newspaper. They heard it in the radio. They did all that. Okay, so this is going to be a long night for Nigerians. And perhaps I think issues like this is what we should protest against more, where certain persons are bent on making sure that Nigerians don't find this space worthwhile to live. All this complication and crisis, the head of the NNPCL ought to be by now sacked. He should be forced to resign or sacked, so that you can design the process in a way that will favor the citizens. Power belongs to the people, and that should not change. But what we're seeing is a different thing entirely.
If I may come in all of this, I have the billion-dollar question right now is, I would like to get your thoughts and your personal opinion on this. How much do you think NNPCL or FEC would peg petrol coming from Dangote Refinery? Do you think it will be lower than the amount it is right now, that's 855, or will it go back to the amount it was when subsidy was removed, about over 500, or below that? What are your thoughts? What price do you think we'll be getting PMS?
It does not matter what I think now. They have to factor in production cost. If they factor in production cost, what does it cost to refine a liter within the country with the Dangote refinery? So if you factor that in, and you look at his running cost and all that, that will lead to price. Okay? So it doesn't matter what I think. If what I think does not conform to production or the process of production, it's not going to sell below cost price. Okay? He purchased the crude, he didn't get it for free. Okay, then he will put his men to work to refine it. The refining process is cost, the cost implication of refining process. It's cost intensive and all that. So at the end of the day, he's going to sell with a profit margin. Okay? Yeah. He's going to sell with a profit margin. So because he's going to sell with a profit margin, that is why he's supposed to sell directly to marketers, so that they just go to the filling station direct. Because you cannot go and buy in Dangote refinery and put in your car directly. Absolutely. So you're supposed to sell to marketers, and there should be no monopoly. But when it's sent generally to marketers, the marketers will not get to take those who are operating filling station will now purchase, and they will now sell by a profit margin. Okay, so in the future, really, there's not going to be any straight price. Okay, so people will sell according to what the market forces will determine it. So if you ask me that what do I think the price should be, it makes no difference what I think.
All right.
What I think, yes, it makes no difference. What will happen is the possibility of buying and selling. What can this be purchased for, given that it was bought for this amount?
All right. right.
That's exactly what it is.
That's a safe place to land. This conversation is not something that is ending anytime soon. It just as NLC has also spoken, saying the fact that the president reviewed the minimum wage, they didn't have a conversation about increasing petrol price, and presidency has also said they didn't have any agreement of sorts with the NLC. So we see that if I could use the word battle, if I could use that word, has just started and would keep seeing how it unfolds. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up the conversation with you because we've exhausted our time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Barrister Evans. Thank you, and have a fantastic Thursday.
Thank you.
You know, I was just going through, if we had enough time, we would have hopped on this NLC conversation, because it brings, are we looking at the possibility of another protest? Because NLC has said the betray workers face consequences. What exactly are the consequences? Do people actually still believe in the NLC at this point in time? Bearing in mind that Joe Ajero is still
has his own
working on murky waters, if I could use that word, with the allegations in court, and then this conversation coming up. So are we seeing the possibility of NLC mobilizing people for a protest? Would people actually turn out when some people have been charged with treason? So all of these things are big deals. You increase the minimum wage, you approved it to 70,000 naira just last month, and all of a sudden petrol price. So they are saying, no, this was not our agreement. And Fed presidency, I saw the report where the presidency said they did not have any conversation like that with, they didn't have an agreement of that sort with the NLC. But like I said earlier, it will keep unfolding.
Well, someone said yesterday that Nigerians were used to adjusting. We are used to being pushed to the wall.
I used to say that most times when things happen, you easily adapt and just move on. But it has gotten to the point where it's a chokehold. It is. I saw your statistics yesterday that the petrol price has increased by over 300%. And if your salary has not increased by 100% in the space of 1 year, you're living from hand to mouth. But let's take Sylvester from Osun State. Good morning, Sylvester. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Please go on in 30 seconds. Please proceed.
Yeah. The problem we bring for this country, we don't do anything but number one is religion. Secondly, tribalism. Because if not to say if you say we go join hands together, we masses join hands together, they do the thing we supposed to do. This country no go, the thing no go be as it be now.
Thank you so much.
What I mean for what I'm saying is this.
Yeah.
You don't say that all these people, our politicians, all people who they rule this country. People who they rule this country, they don't say we are not together. If they say we will join hands, they together. They don't want to take us, they do this thing, what do they take us do?
All right, so we're talking about unity. That's what we're preaching.
They don't they do this here, what do they take us do?
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts, Sylvester.
We just try to unite.
All right, thank you so much.
Just try to unite. Let's keep trying.
All right. Thank you so much, Sylvester. Now, Sylvester is talking about unity. I recall, was it Dr. Adedayo Kayode? I'm trying to remember the exact guest we had a conversation with this week. If it was Dr. Adedayo Kayode, I'm not too sure, who was talking about how if we join forces, religious leaders, traditional leaders, if everybody comes together, I think
it was Dr. Adedayo Kayode.
And imagine they are the ones at the forefront of these protests. Would they be arrested or what have you? So there's a lot of call for everybody to put hands together. Those that are at the front should actually mount these things and take action. But unity, yes, somehow, people say, oh, we don't love each other as much as we preach, but I think being unified as well helps us a lot. But we've really exhausted our time on this segment and we have to wrap it up here. We'll take a break. We'll be back with our views from the net, to stay with us.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Laconic, laconic, laconic.
Welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. This is Views from the Net. We throw out a question and we get your opinion, and we just try and educate ourselves. Now the question, before I roll out the question, don't forget you can also take part in the conversation. The number will also be displayed on your screen. Now the question for today is, how do you handle a partner that is an overthinker? Now if you ask me, in this present time, if you are not an overthinker, away from relationship, if you are not an overthinker in this country, you must have access to premium therapy. That's all I can say.
Well, okay, let's start off with you very quickly. How do you handle a partner that is an overthinker?
Well, that means it has to do with, I think it's related to insecurity. Mm-hmm. If you're an overthinker in any relationship, it has to do with insecurity most. Then it has to also do with past experiences and all that. So yes, you might not be able to erase that, but the person just has to trust and believe that, okay, when I say yes, it's yes. When I say no, it's no. When I say I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And you also have to be careful how you use words around those kind of people. You have to be deliberate about the words you use around those people, because any word could be misinterpreted. Yeah, basically.
You're actually right, spot on. So I think that if you're dating or you have a partner that is an overthinker, one of the things you need to constantly do is reassurance. You know, you need to constantly reassure the person. You need to be accountable. Yeah, you actually need, so that way it helps the partner not think too far. Okay, so I'm going here, this is what I did, or this is what I want to do. There's a level of accountability that you owe the person. It's also important to constantly express how you feel about the person. Be open, communicate. It's a lot of things, but at the same time, you that you're an overthinker, you need to calm down too. You know, I know that past experiences can traumatize you and make you doubt everything, but it's important to also give this person a chance. As much as they are dating you, they also have a life to live. So you need to be able to understand that and balance it up.
All right, let's start off with the first one. It says, I handle my partner's overthinking by encouraging them to express their thoughts and feelings openly. Now, I listen attentively and offer reassurance to help them calm their mind. This is Kemi from Lagos.
Reassurance cannot be overemphasized. But let's take this next comment. This is Mary. This is Mary. And Mary says, I help my partner manage overthinking by setting boundaries and encouraging self-reflection. I also model healthy thinking habits to show them a balanced way of managing thoughts as well as emotions. This is Mary from Lagos. Mary says she manages it by also managing her thoughts. Another thing is being open to your partner. You know, if someone likes you and you're dating someone that is an overthinker or someone is hitting at you, it's okay to talk about it. You know, see, there's somebody at my office or in my school, a guy, he likes me.
To an overthinker.
So is it not better than when you are taking calls, you're speaking somehow, you're not open, you're grumpy, you're responding to texts and you're hiding it? I think that dating an overthinker, when you are open to them, it also builds a level of trust that they have in you. That, okay, this person is plain, this person, there's someone that likes me, and I've told him I'm in a relationship. So I don't want you to feel like there's anything. You might see him calling me, you might see him texting me. I've told him already, but I don't know why he's still disturbing me. You have cleared it. But when you are now hiding and hiding and
to protect.
Okay, sometimes we feel like we are protecting our partner by hoarding information. Sometimes, maybe to an extent, but at the end of the day, I think it does more damage than protection. Because if the person finds out eventually, especially if you were not standing your ground, if you were also enjoying the conversation with the other person, the person will feel betrayed. So you feel like you're protecting the person, but you're hurting the person more.
I also feel, I look at it in another way, that what causes people to overthink? Gaslighting could also make someone become an overthinker. You begin to question yourself and all that. Also, an overthinker too could be a result of jealousy. That could also cause someone to become an overthinker.
Could just also be evil spirits.
What do you mean by evil spirits?
One spirit is just disturbing you. You don't even understand. You just you are just doing anyhow, if I can use that word. Nothing, no, you don't have past experiences. You just start to trouble yourself and trouble your partner and frustrate your partner.
And even the company you keep also. When you see your friends they are complaining about their boyfriends, their girlfriends, you know, it makes you think that how will my own be? And certain things that they complain of, you are seeing it in your partner. You know, it makes you, think. And I think lack of communication could also turn one into an overthinker. Let's take this next one. This one says, I support my partner by validating her feelings and offering emotional support. I also encourage them to engage in physical activities to help reduce stress. This is Lome from Abuja. Physical activities like sport or what? That's also a good thing.
Let's take Chika from Jos. Chika says, I handle my partner's overthinking by encouraging open communication and active listening. I also help them identify patterns of negative thinking and explore ways to reframe their thoughts. Chika, thank you so much for your comment.
I like that. Try and change their mind from negative thoughts to positive thoughts, because that's what even makes people become an overthinker. It's always negative thinking, negative, anything, little thing you see like this, you know. And it's amazing how our minds can actually run wild with just one simple suspicion. Maybe, like you said, the person is taking the phone to go and answer in the kitchen, and you start. But I think
if there's nothing you're hiding, why are we together? You hear the call. You might have business call, yes, and you need to, you know, talk about it, but it's not work, and then you have to either cut. You know, when your partner keeps cutting calls, ending calls when you're together, they can't take any call at all, or their phone is always on silent. Also, it raises suspicion. Or you have to go into the toilet to pick a call. Why?
Now, for the silent or
some
airplane
of
mode.
you are guilty.
No.
Catch your sub, please.
No. I'm saying
catch your sub.
Sometimes you just want undivided attention with your partner.
Until somebody is with your partner.
Yeah,
okay, so only when your partner is around, you put your phone on silent. Wow. What a scope.
I'm not saying that's what I do.
Scope.
I'm not saying that's the ideal thing. But sometimes calls could be a distraction, you know, especially, you know, if you are the type that, you know, you have friends.
Plenty of them.
Plenty friends. You are very sociable. And they call you. And of course, I mean, if you as a person, you have to be mature about it. If you have a female calling you and you have an overthinker by your side, of course, you know, if you pick that person's call, and you know that person, once you pick that person's call, you might go hours. What would you do? Would you pick the call?
It depends. I could actually pick the call and say, what's up? I can't talk right now. And I'll make sure that my partner knows this. Like, how do I explain it? It's a thing of trust. There are people that you've told your partner about already, that you see this person. The person might just even be your casual friend.
Bestie.
No, not even bestie. The person might be your friend for a long time. But you know, when the person, you guys don't talk a lot, but the day the person calls, you guys can talk for 2 hours. You're not dating. There's no, in fact, the other person too might be in a relationship. Cases like that, and my partner already knows about this, but I could pick a call and say, what's up, oh? How are you? This is not a good time. I can't talk right now. I can even say, I'm with babe or something, or I can't talk right now. Okay, we'll talk later.
I can't talk right now too sounds suspicious.
That's
I mean, why can't you talk?
That's what I'm saying. It means that you have built a relationship with your partner. Your partner knows the person, and your partner will not even be comfortable about talking for 2 hours. Or better still, you could pick up the call, talk a bit, and say, can we talk about this later? In fact, if the person is your friend, the person already understands why you can't talk right now. Do you understand? So it's not, if people are the ones keeping all these secrets, please, let's move on.
All right, let's move on. I manage my partner's overthinking by offering assurance and emotional support. I also encourage them to seek professional help if their overthinking interferes with their daily life. Olawale from Idimu. I think I like that. Seek professional help. You know, I mean, if you are not an overthinker in Nigeria, I mean, you must be getting premium therapy.
It's not about premium therapy. Sometimes it's just you take on the responsibility not to kill yourself. You know, I was still telling someone yesterday, when I saw the whole fuel situation, I wanted to get fuel. I could not get fuel. I was staying in for 1,100 naira. I said, you know what? No, I parked my car. But I was telling the person that if I continue to dwell on everything that is happening, I will just land in the hospital. So sometimes you take on the responsibility yourself. See a movie, engage in conversations with people that does not talk about the economy or the hardship or what have you. Play games. You can take a walk. Some people eat. That's how they manage. They just eat. You know, just do something that distracts you for a bit. Now, it will not take away the whole thing from your head.
Yes.
But by the time you finish, for example, if you see a movie, when you're done, you feel a little bit relaxed. The tension, the whole hardship might hit you again, but you just find your happy place. That's it. But let's quickly take Fumilayo from Lagos. She says, I support my partner by encouraging self-reflection and self-care. I also model healthy thinking habits and encourage them to engage in activities that bring them joy. That's it. Fumilayo from Lagos. Thank you for your thoughts.
I like that. Now let's take this one. This one says, I handle my partner's overthinking by setting clear boundaries. And encouraging them and encouraging open communication. I also help them develop problem-solving skills to tackle challenges.
Are you guys telling us the truth, Sha?
Setting boundaries for an overthinker.
What are the? I really like to know.
I really like to know, because you're not helping that person by setting, you are even encouraging them to think the more when you're setting.
This is my phone.
Don't touch
it.
Don't
come to my house without. I saw a story. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. I saw it on social media about the lady who came to rant. She's it's her fiance, and they are getting married. I think in 2 months or so, and they've been dating for a while. But every time she goes to his house, it's always on his request. It's always on his request. And then one day she said she went to do something in his area and decided to surprise him. And she went to his house without calling. And she got to the door, knocked. It took a very long time before he answered. And he was very upset that she came without informing him or him inviting her over. And she said, did he allow her in? According to the story, she said he didn't allow her in, and she was like, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? That she's so sure there was no woman in the house or whatever, but he didn't allow her in. And that he now came to her house the next day to apologize to her. So she doesn't know if she should overthink it, if she's overthinking it, or she should just forget about it and continue with the marriage. And you know, trust Nigerians now.
Let her try it one more time.
And it brought up the fact that she's, from what she was saying, she's not an overthinker, but that was about to put her in that space. So there are certain things that when they happen, they can throw you in a state of disarray. Like,
let her try it again, and she will get what she wants.
Right, let's move swiftly. I don't think we'll be able to take all of this comment. Let's take this last one. This is Destiny from Ife. I manage my partner's overthinking by offering emotional support and encouragement. I also help them explore relaxation techniques like meditation and deep breathing. Destiny, thank you so much for your comment.
All right, let's take the next one. This one says, I support my partner by encouraging open dialogue and active listening. I also help them identify triggers of overthinking and develop strategies to manage them. This is Susie from Lagos. I like this. This is problem solving. This is being deliberate.
Bolaji from Yabatek says, I handle my partner's overthinking by self-reflection, by encouraging self. I think we've taken this comment before. Yes, let's take Uche from Unilag. Uche says, I manage my partner's overthinking by offering reassurance and emotional support. I also encourage them to engage in physical activities to reduce stress and anxiety. I don't think it's healthy to have this kind of trait. If it's getting too much, it can lead to mental illness.
Yes, it can actually lead to mental illness. But all in all, if you have a partner who overthinks and all that, just try as much as possible to be open as a book. Just be open. No secrets. Well, some secrets are...
should go with you to the grave.
Yes, we'll go with you to the grave, but be open as much as possible. And also encourage the person to also be open, because people who overthink sometimes keep things away also. They protect some other thing, because an overthinker will probably not want to let you know that he or she is an overthinker.
All right. Quickly, let's say Queen from Great Yabatek. I love Queen's comment. It's the only different comment. It says, I don't need to handle anyone for anything. If you're not mature to ask questions, then what are you thinking about? In everything in this life, I don't like assumptions. Come to me and ask questions and you will get answers. I don't like dramas. Queen is, I don't have time for all this. You feel a certain kind of way, you think there's something happening, come and talk to me. Overthinking for what? Well,
all right, I like this one. Overthinkers care, with a question mark. Most times their love language is usually words of affirmation. I would use this as a tool in handling my partner. That is constantly complimenting her, affirming your love with a little addition of physical touch. It is a little stressful at times, but the benefit plenty. This is Emeka from Away. I like that. I like, words of affirmation and all that touch. And Emeka is quite romantic.
Right.
I think that's all we have right now. Of course, stay tuned. We still have a whole lot more coming up on The Breakfast Cafe.
High Impact Radio, 102.1 FM. The future is now.
This season on The Muse. Retinue. We walked the halls of creativity.
People always judge
by appearances.
Traveled through books.
As I pay for my pounded yam and foriro with goat meat stew and one king-size ogufe, now to chop the food remain.
We made art.
What? Oh my God!
And danced with the muses.
All this here ends with EY.
Catch new episodes of The Muse on High Impact Television.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. We've taken a look at so many segments, but let's move into another where we talk about something very important. And the conversation flying around now is the fuel situation. So why don't we delve and focus more on this? Today we'll be talking about border control and fuel smuggling, preventing fuel smuggling across borders, which can exacerbate scarcity in Nigeria. Now, when we talk about all of this, what are we saying? Now, Nigeria faces a significant challenge in fuel smuggling due to disparities in fuel prices between the country and its neighbors. The Nigerian government heavily subsidizes fuel, which, according to reports, it was taken off, making it cheaper domestically than in neighboring countries. Now, this incentivizes smugglers to illegally transport fuel across borders, leading to substantial economic losses and fuel scarcity. Now, the porous nature of Nigeria's borders exacerbates the problem, making it difficult for authorities to effectively monitor and control the flow of goods. The smugglers exploit these vulnerabilities, using illegal routes and unregistered vehicles to transport fuel across borders undetected. Now, this illegal trade not only deprives the Nigerian government of revenue, but deepens fuel shortages experienced by citizens, especially in border areas. Addressing fuel smuggling requires a comprehensive approach that includes strengthening border security, enhancing law enforcement capabilities, and fostering regional cooperation. In technological advancements such as drones and surveillance systems can aid in monitoring remote border areas, while bilateral and multilateral agreements with neighboring countries can coordinate anti-smuggling efforts. Now, joining us to have this conversation this morning is Oluwafemi Aratokun Ali. He is a security expert who is well versed in areas around security, border control, border security, and what have you. Thank you so much for joining us, Femi Aratokun Ali, this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's kick off very swiftly so that we can, answer a couple of questions within our time frame. When we hear border porosity, fuel smuggling, what are some of the major social implications of fuel smuggling for communities that are surrounded around Nigeria's border? If we kick off with that.
Thank you for this very sensitive topic this morning, and I think I need to let you all know that border control and smuggling is a very delicate topic and very sensitive as well. However, the impact it's going to be having on the government or within a territorial country today is tax evasion and loss of revenue, and again, risks to life as well. So we are all going to be affected one way or the other if things like this are continuing and if there is no control over it. However, when we mention this topic, we're not really referring only to the immigration services or the custom officers only. There are other key officers or departments that are equally responsible. But the question we need to ask is this: why are they not responding or being proactive in dealing with this issue swiftly?
All right, let's move on to another interesting question now. Of course, fuel scarcity is what we're having now, and price for hike in price. I remember that Dangote made a statement. Dangote Refinery made a statement that if they don't sell to Nigeria, they would also sell outside Nigeria. So my question now is, we have a lot of, with this new with Dangote entering the whole what do you call it, the whole petroleum market thing, and NNPCL trying to monopolize it by being the sole buyer from Dangote. What is the fate of, would it be able to curb, would it be able to curb independent marketers exporting it out of the country to neighboring countries to sell?
Well, it's not going to be possible because Alhaji Aliko Dangote should be way more patriotic to his country than any other foreign countries. And what we need to look into is this: what is the population in Nigeria? What is in what capacity are we using this petrol and other oil products that we need in Nigeria today? So thinking about other countries, we need to sort our own house first. So I think the priority should be Dangote should please think about Nigeria first, and let us see how we can work collaboratively together to ease the tension in Nigeria. Nigeria is our home, and that is the first thing we need to do. But having said that again, the independent marketers, are they going to rally around to see how we can solve this issue? Do we really believe in importing fuel will be the best way, or let us work and deal with our own local products and see how it's going to serve our masses? That is what we need. The suffering, the hardship is too much now, and what we do need at the moment is a way of resolving and easing the tension within our community.
All right, so
our communities as well.
Just to understand that we are hammering or bordering on fuel smuggling in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and we know that the world is really advancing. Technology is taking over the world now. If I could connect this a little, you're a security expert. When we're talking about when we're talking about combating insecurity, we talk about some technological ways of carrying it out, and that can also be connected to fuel smuggling. In your perspective as an expert in this field, are there some technological advancements that can be employed to detect and intercept fuel smuggling activities, bearing in mind that sometimes it feels like we're a country that has not really accepted some technological advancement? We see it fail in combating insecurity. So can this play out in detecting and intercepting fuel smuggling? If yes, what are some of these technological advancements?
Okay, thank you for this question you just asked me, and this is how I'm going to dissect and explain it. Technology has never really failed in Nigeria, but the question is, are we embracing technology to fight crime and combat crime and tackle issues in Nigeria? No, we're not, because the budget is there, but we're not really investing into it. That is one. Secondly, how many people do we really have in the departmental area of oil security sector that we're really thinking of? Do you really know we have what we call the ASU within the oil security sector? That is the anti-smuggling unit. That is ASU. We have that, and we have the Revenue Protection Service unit as well. These are people that are meant to really work together with immigration and the customs within the borders, so that we know what is coming in and what is going out. But we're not really looking or thinking or investing into all this. Rather, we're just placing road safety police to man all these jobs. These are serious units that needs to be well-funded and given a lot of investment in terms of technology that will make us understand what is going on in our country. Do you know how many petrol stations that can't even give us the exact amount of petrol they sell a day? A lot of them. Majority of the petrol stations we see along our borders, are they really servicing, or they are just there for smuggling reasons? We don't even know. So the question we need to ask is this: do we have the right technology to tackle all this? The people that are meant to handle technology, are they well trained? Are they do they have the patriotism in them to say, you know what, this is our country, we have to do it together? Do not forget, when we talk about smuggling, We're not talking about poor man's business here. We're talking about the rich and the powerful that are actually committing this crime. And who are they using in committing this crime? They are using the masses. So we've been using poverty to weaponize in a way that it benefits some certain sector of people, and some people are really suffering. And who are just suffering today? It's me and you. You want to go to work, by the time you get to your bus stop, you want to take your Uber, the prices change. Then it's going to dip into your own salary that you still don't even know how you're going to use it to cope for the month. So we are all suffering this, but the departments that are meant to work, are they actually working? If they are not working, then questions need to be asked. Please call them in, ask them questions, do a telephone community consultation, and let's hear what people are saying. These are ways we can actually tackle these issues. If not so, it's not going to work. We have young, vibrant students, everybody around, that can actually work technology out for us in Nigeria. But we fail to use them.
Right.
And when we talk about people now leaving the country, we feel like we're embarrassing everybody or embarrassing the government. No, we're not. Rather, the country is actually, or the government is actually embarrassing the member of the public. So what we are saying here is this: embrace technology, allow the youth to even be part of it. Allow the criminology students in different schools to be part of it. Allow the young police cadets that are well vibrant, that are energetic, to work alongside what we have. These are ways we can actually tackle things. It is not by the old-fashioned traditional ways. A lot of ways are being introduced. A lot of AI tools are out there that can actually work to combat all these crimes we have today in our countries. Look at our truck drivers driving our tankers, supplying and distributing fuel. Are they well trained? Where do they know? Where do we know they are coming from? So if we're talking about the government, the private sector have got their own share of the blame as well, because we've refused to imbibe or, embrace the new ways of doing things. Rather, we just want to follow our old ways, and it's not really working for us. And the impact is what we're having today. If we don't do all this, we might likely not see the end of this crisis.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I want to ask two questions, and if you can answer them as short as possible. Now, the first question is, the former president Muhammadu Buhari said during his administration that Nigeria does not have the capacity to man its entire borders. So my first question is, what are your thoughts about this statement? Is it true? Then the second one in regards to that also is, what role now can the international corporations or international countries play in addressing this issue of fuel smuggling? Or are they complacent in this fuel smuggling?
Let's put it this way. Smuggling or no smuggling has been happening before the birth of me and you. Petroleum smuggling or crude oil smuggling from Nigeria to other countries has been happening even way before independence. Let's put it that way as well. However, can we control things in our country? Yes, we can control things. Do we have the willpower to control it? No, we do not have the willpower. Do we have the manpower to control things? Yes, we have the manpower. But what is it that we're really lacking? We're just being greedy, we're selfish, and we don't want to face the truth. Because some set of people just want to be in control of the power. They want to be the power players. That is why we see what is happening today. I agree, Nigeria is big and we have so many porous borders in hundreds. But the question is this: when we keep talking about, oh, there is no job, excuse me, what does it cost to protect the borders? We have them all in the communities. So if our communities are porous, then who's making it porous? I have to blame the government, the governor, the local government chairman, the ward councillors. What is their job? What are they doing? Why not employ people and let them do this job for us? Let us embrace and work together and see how this will work. So if we say we don't have the capacity of the manpower, we have the capacity, we have the manpower, but the will of the government to do it is what is lacking. And when will of the government is lacking, who do we blame? We have to continue to blame the leaders. But are the leaders being heard?
Okay,
we need to ask. So we need to work together. Right. We need to be honest and see how it's going to work.
Right. You talked about the will of the government. As an expert, let's see if we can borrow some of your thoughts. How can the Nigerian government, our leaders, those at the helm of affairs, promote the efficient distribution of fuel within the country to reduce and minimize the risk of shortages, smuggling, hoarding? Borrow some of your thoughts. Let's see how we can manage this.
My thought is simple here. And I would say to Nigerians, please let us look at it from a different angle. If we have petrol, if we have this supply everywhere in our country, number one, there will be reduced in all these skills that we have today. We only have two different means of traveling in Nigeria. We have the road, the rails are not really working, and the air is not really comfortable for ordinary me and you to do. So basically, we are just ending up on the road. So if we're really ending up on the road, so what we need to now do is this: how do we reduce the cost of bonding? How do we reduce the cost of fuel prices? That is what they should be looking at. That is what they should be doing. If they can reduce it locally and use local currency to transact the business, it will be much more better than using foreign currency to transact our own national and traditional crude oil within our country. If you want to sell it to the outside world, that's fine in currencies you want to trade with, but whenever it comes to Nigeria, everything should be localized. If we can do that, it will ease the bonding, because things are skyrocketing in Nigeria today, and people are beginning to fed up. People are beginning to like, you know what, we don't even believe in anyone again, we don't believe in the government, let alone believe in whatever the government is saying. So what we do need is a decisive security policy that will guide the crude oil marketers, independent marketers, and the government ones as well. NNPC should come up with a framework that should work for us in Nigeria.
All right, I have two questions again, but if you can answer it in less than a minute, I will appreciate it.
That's fine.
Now, the first question is, what economic incentives or disincentives, if there is, can be used to discourage fuel smuggling and encourage the legal trade? Now, the second question is there a legal way to export fuel outside Nigeria?
Well, let me first answer your, the first question is so simple. The only way out of this is reduce the costs. The moment you are able to reduce the cost within here, I think a lot of people will definitely go around their businesses, and business will work fast and better. If you can reduce the cost of this petrol and petroleum products in Nigeria today, trust me, Nigerians are people that we don't really complain so much about things. All we just want is just the comfort and the comfortability of life. If we can do that, that will be fine. Yes, the second one is the legal way of exporting. Yes, we can. If we have excess, we have no reason for why should we need to export, of course, if we have excess. So the excess can be exported, that is fine. Any country that wants it, we give it to them, and they give us back whatever incentive or money we want from them. That's interesting. Those are the legal ways. But going the illegal ways is now the problem. This is where corruption now comes in. This is where killings and exploitation of different things now comes into play. And this is one thing the government should look into. And whoever is found or, arrested should be, given the fair judgment, rather than, playing different cards and political games and all the rest around it. Because we're not seeing tougher sentences, so we see everything as business as usual. But if we don't want to see all this, then it shouldn't be business as usual. Justice must be served to who justice must be served with.
Right.
Arrests should be made whenever arrests should be made. And police and other units working to protect the country must work as well. However, don't forget, wherever they are working, there should be welfare and incentive for them as well. This is how the game can go.
Very, 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 very interesting way to wrap up the conversation this morning. Thank you so much, Femi Aratokunle, for joining us and for sharing your thoughts with us on how to manage border porosity and fuel smuggling across Nigeria.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too enjoy the rest of your day today.
Right, we just had a conversation with Femi Aratokunle. He's a security expert, talking about how to manage border porosity, fuel smuggling, and what have you. And he gave some really interesting and succinct points. And I believe that if anyone at the helm of affairs gets access to this, it should be able to help us navigate through that phase.
It's quite an interesting, and I like how he put it into straight that we do have the capacity to man our borders. We do have the resources, the personnel. It's just what he calls it greediness or corruption that is just fueling the whole thing. So I think if we're able to do that, man our borders well, and have cooperations with international companies, we'll be able to avert this. And just like he said, if we have excess, then we can now think of exporting out of the country. But I think this is where we will stop right now. We still have a whole lot more coming on the Breakfast Cafe, so please stay tuned.
right of every Nigerian now. I've been here since, well, for like 30 minutes. The queue is still long. I'm just at the tail end of the queue. So, but I've been looking for fuel since morning for the past 3 hours. I've been driving from K2 down to Ikeja. The queues there are so massive. We just want to buy fuel. That's it. Now we don't have, the price is very bad. Ahead is 868 here, and that's the best we can get. It's from MRS. Compared to what I just bought from the black market at 1.2, you can see that, well, it can still save you a few bucks, but it's still bad. It's not a good price for fuel. Considering the economy we are going through, it's not a good price.
It has not been easy at all. Having to wake up very early in the morning, then come to the bus stop to queue. It's been very crazy. We'll cope, Sha. We're in Nigeria together, so we'll get used to it. It's just a matter of time. I believe with time, everything will change. In the last 3 minutes, I came not quite long, but it's always very hard for me to get bus at this point. Sometimes I stand for like 20 to 25 minutes. And at the end of the day, they will tell you from here to Yaba 500. Then from Onikman, they will tell you from that place to Yaba 300 or sometimes 400. You don't have a choice than to just go with it.
Do you understand? They are linked to one channel. Because you know this I'm saying, all these things. For the first time, I've just said that they are just deceiving us. Do you understand now? Look about the education. Look about the health. Look about the fuel. I didn't know the way that we are taking enjoy this government with all this old papa that we have there. Papa 70, 80, 90 years. Okay, see what I heard one rumors in the radio one day that they said that the crude oil that we never supply, that we never selling, we are collecting money. That's all that of things. I'm around here around 8 o'clock in the morning. I've been here yesterday around 7:30. I left here at 6:30 p.m. I'm here 8 a.m. I left there p.m. Can't you see the surveillance? I just recording us. So
Welcome back. The video you just saw shows some of the hardship people are actually going through just to get fuel. First, starting from the lady who was at the bus stop, talking about, well, we are Nigerians. It's sad when we say that thing, that we are Nigerians, we will manage that. We've gotten so used to it. We are just. Even when we know this thing is not right, but, we're just used to it. And look at the other man who was saying that, he's been trying. I mean, the first guy who said he waited, and where he got to is about 886. And that's like the best that he can get, and he has to just wait. And that's how it is. People park at filling stations as early as 5 a.m. or the night before.
On my way to work this morning, as early as few minutes to 6, there's a particular fuel station. All this while, they've not had fuel. But the moment they increased the price on Tuesday, by Wednesday morning, as early as 5:30, they already started selling. People were already outside. This morning, the same thing, the queue. In fact, it caused a little bit of traffic yesterday, and we have seen the same thing. I saw the same thing build up again this morning. And it shows that sometimes we also cause some of these problems ourselves. A lot of times, some of these marketers, we can see queue of, we can see the queue, cars waiting to get fuel. This is just one fuel station. And some people would have to wait because how would they get to work if they don't buy fuel? We can see that this particular fuel station is selling for 868 naira. And that might be one of the best prices people can get. So they have to wait. Where instead of buying it at 1,000 or 1,200 naira, I reached out to someone yesterday that, please, how much in case I want to get? And the person was telling me I can get it for 1,200 naira. I just said, you know what, don't worry. If we have to stroll or we need to do some exercise this period, because honestly, if you calculate how much you're going to use to purchase fuel, you'd have a rethink. But there are some people that don't have a choice.
Yes.
And then we have to also factor in people that have to enter public transport to get to their place of work. Transportation, the price of transportation has doubled.
families don't have a choice. I mean, you have to take your children to school and pick them up. You really don't have a choice. You have to get fuel. So, and you can imagine. But sometimes I look at countries like Saudi Arabia, who has developed with just oil, and they're enjoying the benefit. And looking at Nigeria, we have excess oil. We have oil in almost, I stand to be corrected, if not all the states, but more than half of the states we have oil. But yet we are still having fuel queues. But I just hope, with fingers crossed, that this Dangote refinery may be, or just might be, the sucker that we've all been anticipating.
If that's the only one, we still would have a little bit of problem until other refineries also start functioning. And it's not just one, it's not a monopoly of market or what have you. Then I think we'll have a more stable petroleum market.
Well, we hope that Dangote refinery will be a wake-up call to other people, and the government will also create an enabling environment for people, investors, who want to invest in the refinery. There have been rumors that some of the refineries will be sold to private investors. I hope it will be done accordingly, and we will see a place whereby you can easily get fuel as quick as possible.
Right. We won't dwell so much on that because we've talked about it right from the newspaper review, because it is very, very important. But that's it on our trendy story for today. Let's give you weather forecast before we go.
Welcome back. I hope you've had a whole lot of time. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And this is where we will be drawing the curtains for the Breakfast Cafe this morning. Like I usually say, it takes a village to get this show up and running. So a big appreciation to everyone who took part, from the producers to the directors, the technical crew, the audio engineers, and the bigger thanks to you out there tuning in and watching from everywhere across the world on your television sets and mobile devices. A big thank you. So let's do this again tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow, Friday's edition of the Breakfast Cafe is always amazing. We get to play games and you get to enjoy yourself. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And as always, don't forget to follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact TV, High Impact Studios, and the Breakfast Cafe. I am Sarah Ozanza. Have yourself a fantastic Thursday. Bye-bye.
Do you know bad production can kill